All right, welcome to Devs Play Season 2. We're about to play some Assassin's Creed 2. If you didn't see, you should probably go back and watch Prince of Persia, because we are here joined with Patrice, who made both of these wonderful games. Hi, Patrice.
Hello.
Prince of Persia was awesome, by the way. That was
Thank
super
you.
fun to play.
Thank you.
Super exciting. I don't want to stop. I want to keep playing it, but this is going to be good too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now there'll be a big gap in between the two. There was like 6 years
of your life, yeah.
of my life.
Just gone.
Yes.
We should actually probably talk about Assassin's Creed 1 a little bit before we dive into Assassin's Creed 2. But this was the last one you fully finished, Assassin's Creed 2, so it seemed like it'd be good to just jump forward and get your last game
See?
at Ubi.
You're already playing. That
I
was
am.
really important. Never actually lose control and stop playing.
Yeah.
Because if you don't want to play a game, just watch a movie. So yes, so in 2003 we shipped Prince of Persia, and then the pop team went to design the next generation of Prince of Persia, and I had a hard time figuring out how to make another game with a prince. Just finished one, and a prince is not an action character. A prince is somebody who is a number two of an organization called a kingdom, and he waits for daddy to die to take his place. So if you want to make a video game, an action video game around a character that is a prince, you need to find a really big story around it. And I just finished one with Sands of Time, and I said, okay, how do I do it? And also when Sands of Time came out, took it a while before it got really popular and whatnot, and then so maybe it's because of the fantasy that is not really popular these days, and we look towards more doing something more around history, and I came up with this idea of having a number two of the assassin organization, and for a while it was called Prince of Persia Assassins. And this is how Assassin's Creed came around. And everything that I couldn't do in Prince of Persia, I tried to put it in Assassin's Creed 1, and then in the second one that we're about to play.
So we're getting kind of a recap here.
A recap
first, so maybe it's a good time to talk about the first.
The first one takes place in 1191 in the Holy Land, where you play Altair, Master Assassins, who's already an assassin and is already good. And so on the second one, we said, okay, where do we go after? And we picked, and this is the end of somehow.
Yeah, in the first one, it was kind of like you guys didn't show anything about the fact that there was like real world, current modern day stuff. And it ended with the big cliffhanger of like, now you see like an assassin and you are, you have the abilities of an assassin. So it's cool to see that you then pick up with like there.
And this is where also you realize that there is kind of like a big conspiracy, and it's not like, so the first one is funny because now you're in the prison time, which is now the past, because here you are in 2012, when we started in 2004, that was the future, right?
Yeah.
And we're all playing around the Mayan calendar end of the world thing. And it's funny because we never thought that we would be rushed by time to finish to make sure that the story would fit with reality. So at the end of AC1, it was like, oh, there's a big conspiracy, and Desmond can see stuff just like his ancestors, and that was a bit the idea of going in the Animus, and the Animus would give you the feature or the abilities of a real assassin.
Yeah.
That was the idea of the Animus, the reason why there would be an Animus at the first place.
Yeah.
And so at the beginning of AC2, you're like, yes, you do for sure. You do the last time on Assassin's Creed. Now you realize that the real story of Assassin's Creed is Desmond's story, and then you go back to an ancestor, different one, and then you get into the Italian Renaissance.
Yeah, but like that's another cool aspect. It was like a whole new time period, whole new setting, new characters.
And here's, okay, as you can see, it's like, okay, where could we start? Let's start at the beginning of a character, when a character really is born. And I'm like, kind of, oh, thank you. Really proud. And this is how you see.
It's a good movement tutorial. Learning to walk as a baby, I guess.
Yes, that's all the idea. So again, just like we said before, so people watch the first movie, the first little video, is how do we hide the game design element into a narrative, and that's really a good example here again, which is all the same the same buttons that you will use. And see, it's been like 5 years since I've seen this, and it's like again, pretty good stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah,
it's like
and
sword hand, empty hand,
Exactly.
running,
in
sight.
already as a baby, and it was really important that you see the family for later part of the story. Ezio Auditore da Firenze, and how you present your character.
Yeah, no, that was really exciting to me because I like immediately thought forward to like next games in the series and how they could go to new time periods. But I actually was always really kind of interested in this Desmond story too. I thought this was like a really fascinating tease of like what was to come, and the fact that the first game you're stuck in this room the entire time.
Yeah, that was the idea. Yes, you're stuck in
you start with like immediately exiting the room.
get out of there.
Yeah.
The first game was about being stuck in prison and say, okay, now we're gonna get out of prison. So in AC2 you expand the universe, and finally you see what's out there. It was always been like people ask me, so why did you put some prison time elements into AC and into Assassin's Creed? And for me it was kind of important to make it relevant and not only an historical piece. It was a bit bigger than that. If you imagine Assassin's Creed only in the past, it's a total different game, and basically also is as soon as came up with the idea of the Animus and reliving some ancestors' memories and through the DNA stuff, that that Ubisoft and some of the producer realized that now we have a license. Yeah. This is how now they can do multiple Assassin's Creed a year, is because they have this DNA stuff.
So what was the process like on the first one, actually? Because you went from working on an established IP to now creating one. And a lot of similar kind of mechanics kind of carried over between the two, but I got to imagine that you're starting from scratch and it could be anything.
Yeah, it's funny because for me there's still a license. Somehow it's called history. And it's true. It's like it's an historical book. You just read it and then try to recreate it. But the present moment is where you actually create a real new intellectual property. But it wasn't that tough. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. It's like, but a lot of people complain about the present stuff, which is funny because this is what Assassin's Creed is all about. Is this mix of both.
Yeah, I wonder how much that was marketing, because it really wasn't talked about, right, before the game came out.
Well, Kristen Bell did.
Yeah, I guess that she was in it, right?
Oh yeah, because they're not used to, actors, they're not used to not say anything. And they said, like I just played a part and it's part in the present, and and I remember at the office we went like,
leaked that?
Yeah, she leaked it. and then we were all playing dumb. Like, well, I don't know why, I don't know what she said. But that was just like everybody knew, and it was okay not to say everything, but it's not like we actually said really that nothing in the present would happen. And it's part of the license. And
I think there were screenshots that showed like some of the UI for like locking onto a character, which is very like futuristic looking. So people were starting to question what was going on, but. That was a cool reveal for sure the first time.
But really, imagine Assassin's Creed without it, and it's not Assassin's Creed. Yeah. It needs both somehow.
Well, and it's something nice to tie through all of the games too, right?
Plus, it's like I've been a lot of people say, you're the historical, dude. You're the guy who put this history into games, but somehow I like sci-fi also. Yeah. So. I feel like it's a right mix of both, even though the real game is taking place in the past. And here, I don't know if you, and people actually notice, it's all written in Italian. Around you?
The
Altezza is in fact, and I don't know if it's like maybe it's a big thing, but in fact you're underneath the Vatican here.
Huh? That's crazy.
Here, I said it.
You heard it here.
And it's true. That was the, maybe somewhere in some codex they mentioned it, but The idea is that we're already underneath the Vatican, and at the end of AC2, it takes place underneath the Vatican also.
Crazy.
Again, just like Sands of Time, the beginning is the end, and the end is the beginning.
Yeah, there you go.
I told you before, I always make the same freaking game all over.
Yeah, well,
But
this
it's
one
forget-
obviously
but
builds.
look, the Altezza Massima, which means like highest, 4.5 meters, which for American doesn't mean anything, but it's roughly in feet, a lot.
Like 15 or something.
Yeah, no,
probably.
more than that.
Yeah.
More than that. 5 meters is 30.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Math.
You don't know.
Math's hard. So what were the inspirations for the real-time stuff? I feel like I can see some of them, but I'd be interested to hear like for
What do you
the
mean?
current day stuff, like from film or TV. Were there certain things you were pulling from for that?
I don't know. No, there's no real like which one would you maybe
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like the conspiracy stuff. There was a lot of like Da Vinci Code type stuff going
Yes,
on.
there was this idea, yes, it's true, of making people, just like in Dan Brown's book, where they go on location and they try to find some of the real shit, even though it doesn't exist. And here I remember, by the way, playing this at home, because my stamp of approval for any games that I make is when I bring the game at home and I play them in my own gamer environment, and I can say, okay, this is going to be good. And that scene somehow I realized that, okay, this is well done.
Yeah.
And seeing the characters, how they interact with each other, and that I remember. Plus in AC1 there was some moment in the kingdom, and I said, okay, this game's going to be good. And but yes, so this idea of like people would go on location and go in Italy and say, oh, I've been here before. And actually a lot of people like on Facebook or Twitter told me so, that they go in those, trip in Italy and say, oh, I've been there, climbed that, and it's true. And I remember when we, at the end of that game, we went to Florence and Tuscany with some journalists. We did a press event we rented a villa in Tuscany, and we invited everyone, and then they would play the game, and then we would go in Florence. And I remember that the team and I went to Florence on the Ponte Vecchio, and you'll see the beginning of the game, and we would just, how you really make sure that you polish the beginning of the game, and you play the beginning over and over again. And getting into the Ponte Vecchio, and my brain wasn't sure if it was real or the game. I remember having this moment of like, oh, what is going on? What is happening? Maybe it will happen a lot these days with VR.
Yes, yeah.
But for us, it happened then because we actually did again a good job of recreating that place.
You're like, I can see these stones. That's how I would climb up this building.
Oh, yeah. and that's that's all the character. Like, it's been a while. Also, it's been 5-6 years that I've seen this. Because when I left after that, I had a personal connection with this game, and I had a hard time going back at it. And it's like we were discussing before. I'm not really a nostalgic person. I don't go back to what I've done, and so now this is done, and I'm elsewhere. There's a bunch of jokes on this billboard, and if you talk with them all, there's also some jokes that Mr. Wallace. Because the actor is Danny Wallace, the guy who did Yes Man or something like that.
This guy right here?
But
Yeah.
that's the character, right? But the actor is a guy who wrote a book or decided to say yes to any proposition he received, who became the movie with the name, the American actor, The Mask. What's his name?
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
did movie. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Well, Danny Wallace is the guy who wrote this
crazy.
book, and he did it for real.
That's nuts.
Just saying yes.
And you got Nathan Drake also.
Yep. Well,
You invented Nathan Nathan Drake.
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he is awesome. He's in everything. It's crazy.
No, but not only that, he's like good because he's an awesome person.
Yeah.
He's really. He doesn't have a
And
big
he's
head.
been in. He was in all of them, right? He was
Yeah,
Desmond all
he's
the way
Desmond.
through.
He's
Yeah,
Desmond.
he is Desmond.
That's him. And it's funny because he would do Nathan Drake like a week before, and come and play, and he was good enough to because he's not Drake.
Yeah.
Even though it's the same voice, he's not Drake.
Yeah. So you had already put out 1. What was the process for 1, and what did you guys take into the sequel, and what you're hoping to do here?
We did because you change time period, so
No competitive edge.
the
Crusades,
time.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
Yeah, but the time period gives you element. Like I was saying, that's the real license. It's the historical time period, and from there you pick up some stuff. So there was no Leonardo da Vinci in the first one, and then all those cool gadgets. I remember saying like, yeah, Da Vinci will be your just like James Bond's Q.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like
that was his role.
you're what you're talking about with just iterating on the same game. Like for sure, Assassin's Creed pulls from Sands of Time with a lot of like movement and platforming and narrative, but even more so, the Assassin's Creed games just continue to kind of iterate on the crazy tech that you built up.
Yep.
So it seemed like the first game had a lot of just building out that playground of how the character moves and feels.
And what is Assassin's Creed? What is it? What is the license? What are we talking about? So now we knew.
Yeah.
We knew the present. We knew how to, interact with the crowd and a game world that is open, because that was the big challenge from Sands of Time to Assassin's Creed, is going from a linear game to an open world game. An open world game is its own beast. How to attack an enemy? How do we? Because it's not about I'm controlling. I know that you will go through this corridor and this door. I have no clue where the player is coming from, and so it's a different mindset entirely. In AC2, the real thing that I remember changing or having a different point of view on the mechanics and whatnot is AC1. The crowd is done by having 120 different individuals. And so in Assassin's Creed 1, it was tough to read the game world because they're all individual.
Yeah.
They do their shit. And then in AC2, I came up and I said, no, we need groups. We need people together. We need, because in real life, nobody's really walking alone. You're always with friends, at least someone else, or a group of 4 or 5. And if we have 120 individual, but we divide them by group of 10s, then suddenly you have only 12 individual that the player can read. And so that's why in the second one, there's a lot more groups. And
It's like little pockets of guys, right?
Totally, and it makes the game more readable. And that was one of the main things we worked on, and and I feel it changed the vibe. Plus, there is this beautiful setting also that is maybe more recognizable, because the Holy Land, people recognize the dome in Jerusalem, the gold dome, but the rest is kind of like it's the
not
Crusade.
like the Colosseum.
But this suddenly, the Duomo, and then we'll go in Venice and whatnot, and it works. And plus, this for me is I live in Italy for a year. You have to know that. So parlo pure italiano, and so for me that was a bit my homage to a people that I love. And so it was all the Italian movies that I saw. It was, insieme per la vittoria, together for the win. And this is me talking again to the people, to the gamers. Like let's do this. That's the beginning. And this I remember was the reference which is funny because it's not an Italian movie. This is Gang of New York. I remember telling the team, remember when the two gangs with the snow and they meet up and they beat each other up? Well, that's Gang of New York, the beginning, a little bit.
Which kind of like AC3 gets there a little bit almost,
Also,
right? Yeah.
And so, this is really, all the Italian movies that you could, that you can go and watch. It is an Italian family story. And like I said at the beginning, why the birth and seeing the mother, the dad, then you'll have the little. Oh, they remember the rock. Oh! And you'll have the scars for the rest of the game, by the way, here. To justify the scar.
Yeah, man, of course. No, I feel like the first one, for me, I remember, like, from the outside, it seemed like a lot of the messaging and marketing was about, yeah, kind of role-playing the assassin and the stealth, and, like, it was about making a kill, getting out, blending, like, trying to have that feel really natural. And that's definitely here in the second one, too, but I feel like this one now layers on a lot more mechanically in terms of just structure of the narrative, and it just feels like it does definitely feel like more of an evolution after the first one. It'd be interesting to hear what you think about that stuff.
It's for sure. The first one, we learn how to make it. We learn what was like stealth in a crowd. I remember the first, it was being a blade in the crowd. And how do we make a crowd? How do we do stealth around that? And even though it's a good game, it's more like an experiment on how do we do it. And this one is a real video game where we use a much more understandable or understood gameplay and mechanics that people can relate to. Plus, we had the first one, so we didn't have to explain a bunch of stuff also, even though we did. But what I was saying about the family, and you'll do now your brother's here, you saw the mother, you'll do some stuff for the mother later on, for your young brother. We didn't have any fist fight in the first game. So again, I mean, like, we had a technology, we had an engine, we had a license, and now we just iterate on it, and we had fun with everything. And yeah, so we didn't have, like, people trying to forget that we didn't have any fist fight in the first game. Now we had some here, and we started really much quicker. And it was
it
great.
feels like there's a lot of Desmond stuff at the beginning of the first one, right?
Oh yeah, because then we have to explain the enemies. We have to explain that there's a present. There's a lot of exposition that was done for the second one. And where was I going with that? So the family is important because you're not an assassin yet. That was my problem in the first game, where Altair is a master assassin, and you're a player who's not a master assassin. How can I teach you how to play the game? In the second one, Ezio is a young, old teenager who will become an assassin. So then I can actually tell the story of the game mechanics, which is a real video game story, by the way. And so the character and the player will be in the same mindset, and they will go together. They will become, both of them, master assassins. Where Altair was a much more difficult. He was a monk. He killed a bunch of people before you actually take the controller over, and so there was a distance between the player and the character. Not this time.
Yeah.
Now both of you are learning how to become an assassin, how to fist fight. We didn't have any RPG in the first one, so suddenly there's money, so there's an economic system that kicks in. So it's really two different games, if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it seemed like it had everything there that you learned from the first and the polish that it had, and then it just layered on a ton of new mechanics, and that just kind of continued throughout Assassin's Creed. Like, they just kept putting in new. Now I'm like controlling, building out my city, and now I'm on ships, and it got to be like a ton. But I feel like this was like the sweet spot where there was like, it feels like you really ease the player into it. It just feels very nuanced on these early
Now I'm
ones.
curious to, press talk. Curious to see what you think, because, and this is the Ponte Vecchio I was talking to you about. So if you go to Florence this day, you'll see that it's pretty much the same thing. And now here we made a decision to make a race with someone, even though it's the first time that you actually do free running.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you assume. Oh yeah, I already.
That's that. Yeah, you already.
I'll catch you up.
Yeah, okay. Because some people, and I was told by some developers, that we should have made a race to start the thing. But this is where it's okay, but I still want to tell a story. And it makes sense that the two brothers would run.
Yeah, and you kind of assume people have already played the first, right?
Yeah. But still, it's still difficult. And if you miss it, it's not the same.
Yeah. There's a lot of running in this game. You gotta learn
At
quick.
the end of it, yeah.
I love these masks too, which I did not realize was a real thing until this game.
Yeah. You know why? It was like because they have no clue, basically, what went on. And they say, if I don't smell,
Yeah.
if there's a distance between me and sickness, I'll be fine.
Yeah. Didn't they? I think they put something in the end of them too.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Like some sort of
Now there's a
rosemary thing.
database, and for sure that if you have 2 years and you don't have to build a license, and you don't have to build full tech like we did for the first one, you can focus on making a game. Because the first one, I think I told you before, the first 2 years and a half, we kind of played gyms all the time. There was no game yet. They were like a little
Just getting
gyms
people running around feeling good.
here and there. Okay. And now we had everything. And now we could okay, what is the game we're going to tell? What is the story? What all the features we're going to do? Let's do it.
Here's your race.
Yeah, it works pretty well.
I agree.
No!
Oh, that was bullshit, I will say. Also, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's been built out over the later ones, like the quick zips up to the top of the roofs and stuff that you do miss in these early ones once you have that.
I don't know. I haven't played the other ones.
Spoilers, man. I shouldn't have ruined it. You
Yeah.
gotta play them.
Probably.
Look at this. I already have to go back. So you worked on 1, 2, Brotherhood.
Brotherhood.
Yeah.
And then I was gone
Yeah.
for multiple reasons.
And then they
Most of
carried your
them,
legacy on.
The most important one is that I spent 7 years of my life on Assassin's Creed, one after the other, and I became a dad in the middle, and I kind of said, oh, maybe I'm more dad of the Assassin's Creed, of Ezio and all the character, than I'm a dad of. Oh, you were there.
Yeah, it's a long time to work on one thing for sure.
And so I said, okay, I need a time off, and I took it, and then I said, okay, maybe I could just eventually be in charge of my own little thing. And
now you are.
And now I am. And I'm pretty happy about it. And my family can come to my studio anytime they want. Let you focus on making sure that you win the race.
Boom. Done.
See?
Easy
No,
peasy.
it took 3 times. And then one of this is awesome. This is still like when I see it, it still got me some shiver because people have been playing, you've been fighting, you meet your brother and whatnot, and then you realize that I'm in this huge world and huge game where basically and it's like the revealing of the title.
Yeah. I have a hard time not doing all the Eagle Vision things as soon as I can, just to get my entire map clear. And because it's fun just to see the whole space.
Exactly.
Yeah. Boom.
Boom. Yep. I'm pretty proud of this little thing.
It's not a little thing, man. So by this
But
point,
but which is I know for you guys it's like, but for me it's really a personal thing.
Yeah.
Just like I guess here Tim would say, like for me it's a little thing. I know it became big, but it's really a personal work for me.
yeah.
And we do it with big teams and with a lot of collaborators, and we need Anna, but it comes from the heart.
Yeah.
And so it is for me still a little thing.
But that happened right away on this game, right? Like Prince of Persia didn't have immediate sales, but the first Assassin's Creed sold like crazy, right?
Yeah, they sold, I think 6-7 million copies of the first one. See, this is a fantasy. I know it's just impossible, but
No, that would work, right? If you
it's
have
the
enough
fantasy. It's the phantasm in English. Let's put the fantasy. It's good enough. You've seen many movies where, like medieval movies, where they hide in a haystack, and they're okay. So that's the exact fantasy first, but mostly it's just like the Rewind. when we were building all those beautiful, that's good, huh?
Yeah, I see, like now I'm free to roam. And I
Yeah,
feel
now
like
I can do it.
now
what
I just
you want.
want to monkey around.
Yeah. When we were building those huge tower, at first there was no let's jump down in bale of hay. Do you know how boring it was to go down?
Oh gosh, yeah, I can't.
So
imagine.
it's just
and
like
not fall and die.
it was
There's
just
no
this-
rewind. Remember?
No rewind. It's the
Yeah.
same idea. It's like, okay, I got a problem. It's boring going down. It's boring of dying and respawning. So it's boring. How do I do it? Well, the fantasy of hiding in a bale of hay in any medieval movie is there. So let's jump in a bale of hay,
Yeah.
and then it became a.
There's a nice touch to it. And you know there's one there. 'cause
Yes. Just like we had with the
there's the
curtains,
shadows.
the shadows, and again, it's all hidden. It's not pointer. Same thing with all the white stuff to get up. It's white, you can get up. As soon as there's a white thing, you're good.
I don't think I even noticed that. I think I just.
You don't have to.
You just felt
See?
it, right?
Look,
Like it's just there. It's there. You see the lines. All right, let's keep playing.
Yeah. Oh, Christina. That's
man.
that's Romeo and Juliet. That's really important, Christina. I think in one of the DLC she comes back. This is the
Fine, but only for a minute.
impossible love, the love that never happened. This is the most depressing love story of them all. It's not when and they married and live ever long happily ever after. It's when it doesn't happen that it's really. And those two never. It doesn't happen.
There was a DLC that.
There's a
somewhere this? I don't
DLC
think I played that.
who actually explained this, but before.
Like you're still tutorializing button
Yeah,
presses.
But even though I'm sure the little guy in Minnesota, he didn't really give an F about which button he pressed. He went like, "What? Really?" Time lapse, which I'm gonna use a lot more in my next game.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is good. Let's keep talking about it.
what? Is there people who understood
Secrets
that?
here and there.
No, but I don't remember if there's a DLC if we did it or not, because there was a mission before that. The game was like, we cut a portion and then we started there. And see again, fantasy. This is like we've seen this, but now we've played it, and so I don't have to explain all the little details. So get out of there.
Yeah, obviously. Right
Whites. So you get up.
Yeah, that was the first thing. The first time I played this one, I mean the first one, I guess, is it just the fluidity of climbing up and moving around just felt so nice.
Mostly innocent.
Oh, yeah.
And it kept getting like there's just new little move sets here and there with each new game that just kind of added to your repertoire. Boom.
And it was all about how far do we go in reality? Right? Do we make sure that those people actually believe that you're there or not there, and how far do we go? And at the end of the day, I guess in the first one we tried, we were maybe a little bit more intellectual about what Assassin's Creed was, and in this one we went and okay, let's build a game. It's okay.
game.
There's a lot of humor in AC2 that was not there in the first one. Altair is serious, man. He's a monk killing machine. Ezio he's an Italian stallion having fun with life. No, but it's true. It's not the same character. Plus, we knew how to build it, like I said.
And you guys stuck around in Italy for the next 2 games too after this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Which I guess was also probably a lot of that was like budgetary reasons of let's reuse what we got, but
Yes, but also because I
You love it?
This is my, there is a lot of pleasure in life. There's the Fiero pleasure, which is being on top of the, of the pyramid, of the leaderboards, and this is the pleasure of contemplation.
yeah.
Of like, wow, it's beautiful. It is a pleasure of life that I actually enjoy.
Yeah.
And some people don't get that at all. Some people are a bit like, okay, I just do this so I can see what I need to do next, and others are
No, man.
like, this is just like, wow.
Yeah, this is the first thing
Awesome.
I always do, and it's nice. Well, I mean, one that gives you a sense of the scale of the level, but the later ones too. I love that even those natural areas are things that you can explore.
Oh, you missed
Oh
it.
no!
Boom, rewind.
Rewind. Where's that button?
Because we can. It's
Use my dagger.
It's next generation.
Yeah. That's too much memory.
The real issue was about how do we rewind an entire game world of 120 NPCs. So I didn't have any crowd in Sands of Time, but I had a rewind.
Yeah.
In Assassin's Creed, I didn't have any rewind, but I had crowds. You have to pick your
Let's give and
battle.
take.
Yeah.
All right. Let me get. I just got spotted already. Let me get out of here, and then we'll do another mission. Ugh.
Yeah, because now you need to go and see and do the mob mission, and then my favorite mission of them all, the Petruccio mission. But he asks you to get some feathers. And then he said, you go in and fetch some feathers. I said, why do I need to do this? He said, I'll tell you later, and then you never know.
Because there's like 100 of them all over the world, and that is something I never did for sure. Is find all the feathers.
No, you don't know because he dies before he can tell you.
Ugh. Is that good?
And all the no, let it go. They're still they know they kind of know. This is also we had a hard time figuring out how do we teach and how do we put all those HUD display so it's not too intrusive but people understand.
Yeah.
And I think we did a pretty good job in the second one and less in the first one.
There's a lot to message for sure.
But can you see all the groups where it's not like, okay, there's a monk group there, there's a group of people here in front of the stores, and individuals are kind of like a group because there's only one. If you could play and then you get inside a group of people, you're hidden. So that was one of the...
Yeah, that was all the way there in the beginning, right?
Oh.
First one. So
No, but there was not so many groups. No, you could only hide in monks.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was like the dudes that look
I
like
think
you.
eventually people get to blend all the Assassin's Creed games together, and it
Well,
became
they just
one.
like slowly keep it. Or well, I mean, imagine that the combat stuff was a big challenge. Like now that you have so many more people attacking you, compared to like Sands of Time, it seems like.
Yeah, but and defense was a lot more important. And by the way, that actor, which is also the voice and the visual, is famous. Not really, but he's an actor from Montreal who also played in a TV series called OMERTA. It was about mafia in Montreal. And so, and just like the Pope in the game, also is a very famous French-Canadian actor. Anyway,
Crazy.
little side story.
Did you do mocap on Sands of Time also?
Yes, we used
Just for body, but not like facial stuff.
not
Like this.
facial. No.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that was not.
See, in AC1 there was nothing like that,
Yeah.
and because we didn't have time, even though
There were no.
It
there's
was
like
all
very
designed.
few cutscenes in AC1, right?
there's none.
There's none at all.
There's none. You can control the character all the time in AC1, but everything was designed in AC1. There's stuff that you did in AC3 that was designed.
Yeah,
like
okay.
killing wolves
Yeah.
and all the nature stuff and all the hunting was done on paper for Assassin's Creed 1. It was all supposed to be in the kingdom. And you were supposed to actually live as a real assassin and survive to eventually go and kill your prey. But we didn't have time to do it, so we kept it. Just like
And then you just made the game for 15 years and just kept making it.
that's what they're doing.
You tried to make the biggest game ever. and
They're
then
doing
just,
it.
Yeah.
Go see. So you're in a mission now?
Yeah. Let's go down there.
No, you missed it. You're gonna die. No?
Why do I
Okay.
keep missing those jumps?
Ben trovato. How are? Come sempre.
Also, in
I have a letter for Messer Lorenzo.
it was a big debate on how do we integrate Italy
They've gone to Villa
in the language. How do we
Oh, yeah.
For at least another
do we
day.
do it the
I'll let my father know.
they call it the transatlantic English. And we did some tests, and said we cannot make a game in Italy where everybody's British. So there was 2 rules. Everybody would have a really strong or subtle Italian accent. Plus, we would incorporate some Italian
It's like key phrases here and there, right?
and all the swearing. All the swearing
That's a good
is
way
in
to get
Italian.
around it, yeah.
There's no shit, fuck, and all this thing.
Well, there is now.
Yes, but I'm French Canadian, so for me it doesn't mean anything. When I was a kid, there was other words I couldn't say, and fucking shit I could, because then suddenly I was, oh, you speak English. I'm kidding, but not that much. Oh, no, that's not it.
Keep up the good work. Bischero.
Be scared.
They had to have the
It's true.
translation there.
Yeah.
There you
The
just-
Italian, they swear with
explanation.
the dick words. That's really their thing. And they say in general, in all languages, the swearing is where the issue is really, where you have a hard time with things. So I guess in English, fuck is really the thing you
Like
have
I
an
can't
issue
figure
with.
out what to say.
Yes. For us, where I come from, it's the church. It's church word. We have an issue with that. But sex is okay, I
I'll
guess.
need you again in a little while, but for now,
Now we're getting up there. See, this is what it's all about, Assassin's Creed. Climbing huge buildings.
You know, I've heard that in America, Assassin's Creed became a verb
For what?
for some
for
teenagers.
climbing?
That they go around and say, oh, I can totally Assassin's Creed this.
There's a
And I'm like-
building in San Francisco, the Armory in the Mission. Every time I see it, I'm like, that is an Assassin's Creed building because it has like bricks sticking out like that in perfect little patterns. Okay, let's see. Don't jump. Don't jump.
Don't jump.
Don't jump. That's what I'm always scared of. Let's do this. No. That worked.
Plus, if you played the new ones, they try to make it better and better. I've read that because I haven't played them, that maybe eventually they will have to rethink their system. But it's still pretty awesome if you think about it, that you're actually climbing the Duomo in Firenze, and if you go there, you realize that it's pretty accurate. It's not like, what? It's totally different. No, it looks like this.
Yeah.
Continue. Oh, there's a bunch of. See, this is really important. You've been there. Like, let's give you some reward. I play some games, and if as you explore, give. Make sure that you give when people explore, because people who don't, they don't care, right? And the people who do go around and make sure,
Yeah.
and sometimes they go, well, there's nothing here. Okay, they'll go, okay, who cares? But at the same time, it's see,
Well, this view is a pretty good reward
See?
too.
yeah. Do we go do it? Yes, you go on top.
Of course, yeah.
Important.
Yeah, man. So this one doesn't like have natural stuff there, right? Like that wall is kind of the end of the world for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't. There's no.
There's
in
separate
AC2,
cities,
there's
though,
no.
right?
There's no real kingdom. You go from big cities to. You could say that Tuscany is kind of like the kingdom, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's his own because there is a mission. There is a village inside of it.
See, this is a great example of me making sure I get down this
Yes,
correctly.
and not die.
Did I already do the Eagle Vision is not on this?
No, it's.
Where the heck is
Where
it?
you mean the?
There was one nearby here, and I just got distracted by climbing the huge building. I guess I'm way off of it.
Oh, you're way out of your.
Way
mission.
out of it.
No, in general, it's on the.
Roll,
bye-bye.
right? No, I would have
Rewind.
rolled out of that if this was real life.
Oh yeah, totally. With 2 broken ankles.
Yeah. All right, we can go back to a mission.
Go see, the Petruccio, the brother.
They're all back in that same spot, right?
No, he's gone, right? You did Duccio?
Oh, this is the one I was going to try and climb.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, let's go back to our missions. See, I can climb for days.
Hey, it's fun. I know.
See, it's a platformer.
Yeah,
right?
this one too.
Kind of.
But me, personally, I have no problem with Well, at the end of the day, what is a
I
platformer
don't know.
these days? What
Yeah.
is an
You
open
jump,
world?
I guess.
You do some walling in some other games like Titanfalls. These days, you do duck and covers in all the games. You do walling and free running in
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
all games. It's becoming a different.
Yeah, I mean, this is just as much in common with Grand Theft Auto or something
Yeah,
like that.
you cannot sell a game on one features.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, these days, you need to build a bunch of them because
this
because
one
of
has a
games like
bunch.
this. No, but what was? Yeah, you played GTA and you're like, wow, you do everything. You play top spin tennis. Why would I?
Oh, Top Spin, that's the game.
Yeah.
Let's play that next.
Top spin 4 is the best. Yeah, we need one on next gen now.
Yeah, there hasn't been one for a long
No,
time.
no.
There's
It's been
Virtua
5-6
Tennis
years.
first.
Yeah,
right?
that's
And
not
then
as
Top
good.
Spin.
The last top spin, they actually managed to nail tennis down, for real.
All right, which one do you want me to do? Let's see.
Who's that? That's not the young brother.
In here.
Oh, the Petruccio, this one. That's the beauty of it.
I also loved all the little like.
What you doing now, Petruccio? You should be in bed. I want those feathers. What for? It's a secret.
Oh
Get your name on
man,
it.
do we get to
We'll
find
go-
out what the secret is on this stream?
Yes, I promise. See, I could have done Petruccio.
Did you? Were you the scratch voice?
No, no. But that's the beauty. Oh, you have 2 minutes
Yeah.
and
Oh
a half.
gosh,
Come on.
time.
Come on. I'll explain why it's beautiful, Petruccio. Because
Oh, goodness.
you're not really good, in fact. But
It's okay. We had beers at lunch.
yeah, the thing is like you're not doing then it'll be the mother. You're doing mission, even though it's only mission, and you'd rather be climbing all around. But you do mission for your family. Later, right? They're all gonna disappear. Right? They because they're assassin. The father, Petruccio, the other brother, and the sister. No, the sister and mom. They'll be fine, but they're gonna disappear. And the idea is that how do I make it a bit relevant to the players? Where in fact, for most of them, they're like 3D models with some AI, and they don't really care. How do I give this feeling of lost? Well, there's a character asking you to do a task that you will do the entire game, which is just like AC1, collect stuff. And AC1 was flags, and now it will be feathers. But this time the character who asked you said, do it, and said, okay, why? So I'll tell you later, and then I'll kill that character. And you will never know why.
Because it's a video game collectible.
Yeah, but no. And then he said, well, yeah, but I will never know. No,
Yeah.
you lost. You will never
Okay,
know.
so what is it?
Who cares? I don't know. Petruccio died.
Yeah.
He didn't tell me either.
Here.
As promised.
Grazie, brother.
Grazie, brother.
Still haven't told
Probably
me.
something
Tell me
super
why I
nerdy.
want this. I will, in time. Isn't it beautiful?
Ouch, man. I can't believe you did that to everybody.
Oh yeah, I did it twice. I'm not a collector guy at all in my life. At all. I don't care about collecting stuff.
Well, it
I'm not-
encourages you to see the space, right?
Buongiorno,
Yeah. You can. Yeah. But in the first one,
And you?
it was me playing with
Still
with
recovering
gamers
from
out
last
there
night?
saying, "Oh, you think it's really important not to collect them all?
Anyway,
You go
I
get
have
it."
an
Yeah.
errand.
And I'm sorry, and I'm really sorry. I know a bunch of you like
Come, it's not far
almost
from
went
here.
crazy collect them in.
There's a lot of them. I never even tried these games.
Me, I did it once while playtesting. Again, here it's really slow. It's to have an emotion with the connection with that character a little bit with what we can do in the video game.
Let's not
There is
play
like,
this game.
okay, she teaches you how to collect stuff. After that, everybody dies. She will never
I'm
speak
sure he's having
again
a hard time
unless you
dealing with
collect
accusations
everything,
against his father.
the feather and a bunch of
Francesco
stuff, and then she
Di
will
Pazzi's many
say
things,
something at
and
the
none of
very
them
end of the
good.
game,
But
which
he
is not a
never
lot,
suspected
but she
he'd
will
be
go,
capable of
something like that. There's a bunch of little things.
imagine
Yeah,
that would be
AC2 is a good game. The more I look, because, like I said, I haven't watched this in 6 years.
Wish there was
T
another
groups. Yeah, there's groups here. That's another group there. In AC1, that would have been like, oh, like
People running into each other.
yes, a lot more. But also they weren't like related to each other at all. Now there's more like there's only you can actually read 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it, and you understand. You would have to compare between the two to realize the difference between them all.
Was this the one too that had like certain areas you'd find little puzzles, then you'd kind of
Yeah,
unlock?
that's the
for-
beginning of it.
Yeah, I really liked that. I did do all of those. Those were super fun.
With some Prince of Persia levels.
Yeah, that's right.
Linear, all reusing some of the.
For the armor pieces, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And and it was
Hello, Leonardo.
Leonardo da Vinci. It was really important to have him young because he was really in Florence at the time of Ezio in 1490 something, and
Very talented.
he was young.
you know.
And we tend to remember Leonardo because of the old painting when he was 80
Find an hour.
or 65, where he's got a wide. But that guy was young, and they say that he was the most beautiful man in Florence,
Leonardo, will you?
and that he got arrested at 18 years old because there was this thing in Florence, which is kind of like weird, but where you could,
Working for his father.
how do you call that? That you could, anyone could accuse somebody else of anything
Truth be told, it's
anonymously. So he was accused of sodomy,
like my work lacks.
and he spent 2 months in prison.
Does that make sense?
But in the game, we couldn't use the word sodomy.
Architecture, perhaps.
I was refused the word
Say it
sodomy.
in Italian, right?
No, I was refused. Somebody at UB didn't want me to use the word sodomy in the game. It was like, no. Okay, it's just an historical fact, but I couldn't. So he's being accused of dealing with Ezio or something. So now you've played with all the character of the family, and now I'm gonna kill them.
Yep.
Now that you know them, now that you've kind of built a little relationship with them,
Hope our paths cross again.
right?
Anch'io.
And that's gonna be the end of them.
Let's do it.
It's now, yeah.
Da Vinci is there through the rest. He's doing a lot of the like. Is this the one where you build a lot of contraptions with him and things, flying contraptions? And
Yeah. He's gonna be the one giving you all the
Yeah.
gadgets and updating your hidden blade
Yep.
and giving you the.
Blade, man, that was all the rage with the marketing.
Oh yeah. And
Va bene. Get it done.
in AC1 there's one, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh, now there's two. You're
There's
right.
two.
Yeah.
And me, I said that once really as a joke. I said, no, but to journalists, I think it was the E3 we showed it. I said, look, there's two hidden blades. Like, 2 hidden blades for double the fun.
Oh man.
And I used that line to double the fun as a joke, but
Then the marketing guy came in like, you're
all
gonna do
the
that, right?
journalists, all of them, they loved it. And I'm like, are you serious? It's so cheesy, but it became almost like a tagline.
You're like, I guess I have to do it now.
Oh yeah, and it's okay. I get it. It was like yeah.
So where was the third blade in Assassin's Creed 3?
I don't know. I didn't work on it. So you ask them.
Whoa.
So yes, double the blade, double the fun. Well, people got it. They said, oh yeah. And plus, there was a really neat, like Jesus Christ on the cross.
Well, and it was good. Like in the first one, it's actually like a really solid mechanic too, of like a quick way to down people, or just kind of like the dagger in Prince of Persia, right? Like it's just a quick way to knock someone out completely.
What's not too bad right now is that you've been playing and you're not the assassin at all.
Yes.
I'm just a dude.
Were you followed?
Huh?
I'm just a dude.
Yeah. No, but you haven't like fought with a sword. You have no hidden blade. You have no hoodie. You know, like you're Ezio, and you're like, yeah, you already.
Wait, come back.
It'll come.
Explain
Oh
yourself.
yeah, it'll come. You'll do the Batman moment. But it's true. when he gets the father's costume, It was really like Batman. You missed
Yeah, it's
a nice sequence. Well, you missed, or the game missed. Because the main issue was that is how do we make it not too difficult so everybody can go through. They say 80% of players who play Assassin's Creed actually finish.
Oh, really? Jeez,
Yeah.
that's crazy. It's a
'Cause
pretty big game. There's a lot to do.
Yeah, but it's not
Surprised,
that
actually.
difficult.
Yeah.
Really, honestly, you miss some part, but it's not like, whoa, how do I do this and that? My father-in-law, who's a ex-cop, finished all the Assassin's Creed
Yeah.
game. He's really into history and all the conspiracy, the Templar stuff and whatnot, and plus, yeah, his son-in-law.
Have you heard of people actually like? I mean, obviously, it doesn't seem like you could get away with playing it in a history class, but just like at least to explore the space in this time period. You ever hear about people doing that kind of thing?
Yeah, I heard that some actually used it because,
Yeah.
like, the Patsy conspiracy mission, which will happen like 2 hours from now, is pretty accurate. In fact, where we use the minute per minute moment of that day when the Patsy were killed by the Medici, because it happened in 1 or 2 days, and we use the layout of the city and minute per minute, hour per hour to recreate the mission.
Crazy.
So you could reuse it, and what I heard also is this story of a.
You Giovanni's kid?
No, idiota.
Let's see, those are like
It just happens to look exactly like the man.
the thieves and the
Don't
prostitute who will be part of your gang later on. But no, there is the story of an old couple who went to Venice for their honeymoon 50 years ago, and then somebody like the grandchild gave them AC2, and they spent hours in Venice in gondolas, reliving their honeymoon. I received an email of a girl or woman, I don't remember her age, who you're running in front, who said that without telling all the details of the story, that she kind of lost her family, and I kind of understood that maybe she was adopted, and then when the parents died or something, she would like put aside of the family, and the family was Italian, and they say, I lost my Italian family for whatever reason, but I still got my Assassin's Creed 2 in my 360, so when I want to go back to my family and listen to it in Italian and feel like my family is back with me, I play Assassin's Creed.
That's
So there's a bunch of little stories
Yeah.
here and there about, yes. And there's a bunch of, kids also who said, I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life, and I decided to study the history
Federico.
because of Assassin's Creed.
Missed it.
Sergio, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's his.
What happened? Where is everyone?
Where is
They
everyone?
took your father
So what
and
games did
brother to the
Corey
Vatican
work on?
in
Corey wrote
Cambodia.
this one and the prior one, or
Yeah, the first.
Yeah.
Corey May was a scriptwriter on Warrior Within
Mm-hmm.
Are you alright?
and
Yes,
Two Thrones,
Mother.
and then we've met on AC1,
They
the Two Brotherhood,
when she
and
was
then
Brotherhood.
sick.
and then I'm not sure if
not safe here.
what he did
Yeah.
Is there
Yeah.
someplace you can take
afterwards.
them?
Yeah, I was just wondering because it
Yes,
seemed like the
yes.
Desmond arc
To my
was
sisters.
kind of planned to be a multi-game,
Oh, yeah.
large thing, and it ends midway through
The
the.
guards were looking
No,
for
it
you
ends with the
as
third one,
Yeah.
which was already kind of like that was the idea.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as 2012 end of the world thing happened, it was a bit finished for Desmond, but I was gone. So maybe we could have I would have found something else to do with it,
Yeah.
and they decided to go in a different way. But that's it was for them to decide.
Yeah.
But it was the arc of to build a game where there's a time limit. which is 2012 in the Maya calendar BS. Because we're still all here, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, then I guess you went separate ways, and now you're working on a new thing. But it sounds like it's probably in a similar vein of what you've done before. I don't know how much you want to talk about it, but
Well, yes, it's called Ancestors: The Humankind Odyssey.
yeah.
And this time I'm, third person again.
Yeah.
But we start 5 million years ago, and we'll relive the greatest moment of human evolution, starting from getting down the trees and getting up, and we'll do it chapter per chapter, and I'm doing it with my little team of 25 people this time.
That's awesome.
And it's always about talking about the day when something unique happened, like first one getting up, but when we stopped being afraid of fire and used fire, when we decided to also stop being afraid to go up of wolves, and the wolves became dog, and from that story we go in an open world, and you have to survive in order to pass your gene or your knowledge to another generation for us to be here and play some video games
Sweet.
at the end of the day.
Well, I don't want to
So
spoil
that's
too much,
Ancestors: The
but
Humankind Odyssey, and it'll be out there when I'm ready.
yes, take your time. We're
Yes.
excited to see more. Well, thanks for coming by and playing these awesome,
Thanks,
awesome
Greg.
games
And
and
now-
making these awesome games.
Thank you, and now I just want to replay it myself.
Yeah, you should, man. Play them all. Do a
Yeah.
big stream.
You think I can play that with my little girls?
I'll
I'll tell you a secret. The very first person in this planet who played AC2 who wasn't on the team was Patrice Désilets, my little girl of 2 years old back then. It was her first game,
Cute.
so I'll try.
Awesome.
Thanks, Greg.
All right, man. Thanks.